The Prowlers hit the road to Fraser for their final game before the bye week. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Well, the Prowlers are looking to turn the page after a 5-1 loss last night at home to the Motor City Rockers. They were shorthanded last night. They'll be a little bit more shorthanded tonight. We'll get into all of that coming up in the pregame show. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network. Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coats professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Back here in Fraser, the Prowlers and the Rockers getting set to do battle once again this season. And this time the backdrop is Big Boy Arena. But first, let's take a look back at last night's game. It was a tough one for the Prowlers, again missing a top 2 defenseman, their number 1 goaltender, and their top forward, and they fell 5-1. Rockers built up a 5-0 lead. Austin Federley ended up breaking Trevor Babin's shutout bid with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left in regulation. The Prowlers fall 5-1. They see their 3-game win streak come to a close, and they'll be even more behind the 8 ball tonight. But we'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. First, let's take a look at the standings. Nobody moved after the games last night, but Mississippi did get a victory, so now just 6 points back of the Prowlers for that 3rd spot in the Continental. And it looks like a spot you'll want to be, because nobody wants to play the Columbus River Dragons right now. They have a 14-game winning streak going. Of course, 13 of those 14 games have come against Blue Ridge, Baton Rouge, Elmira, and Watertown, so take that as you will. The other victory coming against Carolina, but the River Dragons are the hot team in the FPHL. They're 6 points up on Binghamton for the best record in the league, and they will try to stay hot again tonight as they take on the Baton Rouge Zydeco once again. Jamison Milam had himself a good night last night, 2 goals and an assist. This year, 33 points in 37 games for the 39-year-old, as he leads all Rockers defensemen in points. He's tied for the team lead overall in assists, as he has become a big part of that defense core for the Motor City Rockers. For the Prowlers, I mentioned they'd be behind the 8 ball a little bit more, and that's because this man is not in the lineup tonight. Tucker Scantleberry is out tonight, as he is still dealing with the effects of the injury caused by the Dakota Seaman hit back last week against the Watertown Wolves that Seaman got 7 games as a suspension for. He pushed through it last night, will not be able to push through it here tonight. So, Tucker Scantleberry out of the lineup, and Prowlers will miss his 23 points in 24 games. This is how they're running the lines. Alex Johnson will be a forward tonight, playing with Matt Graham and Austin Federley. Tristan Sim moves back with Sam Merritt and Dalton Jay. Vinny DeCumbus, Evan Foley, and Dan Chartrand will stay together. Frank Schumacher and Brian Parsons are reunited on the back end as the top defense pair. Paul Arnott up there with Adam Heinzel and Dalton Young and Braden Deck will be the third defense pairing for the Prowlers tonight. Again, a very, very short-handed Prowlers group this weekend, and even more short-handed here tonight as they try and get through their last game before the week off that they have next week. They won't play again after tonight until the first weekend of March, so a chance to rest and recover and get the guys back. But first, they have to play 60 minutes of hockey here against the rival Motor City Rockers, as they're just announcing these starters for Motor City. Let's quickly give you the Orthopedic Associates starting lineup for the Port Huron Prowlers. They'll start with that top line of DeCumbis, Foley, and Chartrand. Brian Parsons and Frank Schumacher will start on defense, and Makar Sokolov in between the pipes for the Prowlers here tonight. We just heard a big ovation for Danny Vanderweel, which was expected, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when the anthem is over, but now we pause for that. And that is your national anthem here tonight. We mentioned Danny Vanderweel in the starting lineup tonight for the Motor City Rockers. His first home game since returning from the IR. He played last night. Of course, last night was his first game since December the 2nd, after he took that hit from Daniel Amesbury in Danbury. That eventually led to Amesbury being suspended indefinitely from the FBHL. Let's take a look at tonight's starting goaltending matchup. Rockers running with Trevor Babin once again, and why not? 33 saves on 34 shots for him last night. He is their workhorse. He is their number one goaltender, and he'll be back between the pipes. Prowlers going with Makar Sokolov for tonight's game. First time we've seen him between the pipes in a while. His last game was on January the 14th against the Watertown Wolves. He played 2 of the 3 games that weekend with 1 win and 1 loss. As we finish up our ceremonial puck drop here from Big Boy Arena. And then it will be time for the real puck drop. I'm Will Wiggleman, your play-by-play broadcaster, your cameraman, your clock operator, and whatever else you want to call me. I'm doing all the jobs here tonight, so please, please bear with me. Once again, Prowlers starting with Evans Foley's line with Dan Chartrand, Vinny DeCumbis, Brian Parsons, Frank Schumacher on the back end. Rockers starting with Vanderweel, Giuliano, and TJ Delaney up front. Rotundi and Fields on defense. Trevor Babin in between the pipes. Makar Sokolov for the Prowlers between the pipes. They're just about set for puck drop between Foley and Vanderweel. The two captains face off and we're underway. Here's TJ Delaney working behind the net on Parsons. Foley tried to chip it up, ends up coming back to him. And now Chartrand moves up ice. He dumps it in. Rotundi curls back. Puck moved up the far side. Schumacher cuts off a pass at center, able to turn it to Foley. He works in on his backhand. He'll rim it around. Battled for on the near side half wall, tossed around in Foley's direction, cut off by Rotundi. Johnson back at center. Alex Johnson dressed as a forward tonight. He broke into the FPHL as a forward, played as a forward for a few years before transitioning to defense in his first season with the Port Huron Prowlers. He's playing alongside Matt Graham and Austin Federley tonight. Comes towards the net. Sokolov forced to make a save as Smitsov was driving the crease. And now they'll blow it dead. Did the net come off, or is it because there was something in the corner? There was a stick broken in half. Oh, it looks like the net did come off. You couldn't even tell because the pegs weren't askew at all. It just was off. I don't think Makar Sokolov even knew. Prowlers have Graham's line out there against Scott Coash's line. There's Milam dumping it deep. Arnott lifts Svintsov's stick. He'll try and work it out. It comes to Federley. Chips it along, slipping through Conway. He dumps it in. Graham first after it. Continues it moving. Johnson has it. Gets it down towards Graham. Got through him. Johnson now on the far side. Tried to slide it towards the cage. Ends up over on the near side where Svintsov works away from Graham. Graham trying to wrestle the puck from him. Milam ends up taking it. And he feeds Tim Delaney. The quick up, tipped in, and Motor City makes a change as Dalton Young circles his cage. Trying to work it out, taken back by Tristan Wells, who opened the scoring last night. Centering feed, bounced away from a couple of Rockers. And Sim the other direction. Tried to slide it through towards Dalton Jay, who's knocked down by Wynn. And now Jay behind the net. Tried a centering feed. That was taken by Colton. Nick Gullo gives it up to Sneath. Working on Young from the outside. Throws it high off the glass. Sim couldn't handle that pass, and Young bangs it off the glass and out. Approach 3 minutes gone in the opening period as TJ Delaney dumps it in. Young over to Chartrand, and now Foley chipping in. Babin out to take it. He dumps it around, ends up sliding all the way back to Prowler ice, where it's collected by Paul Arnott. Tecumseh off the boards, now taken away, and the shot off the outside of the cage by TJ Delaney. Chartrand works his way up. Now he'll dump it in. He and Fields come together behind the net. Graham with the steal. Over to Johnson with space. He shoots and stopped by Babin. Johnson tried to center again, couldn't find a teammate. Johnson out high to Schumacher. Wrist shot right into Babin. And he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off and a little extra. crowd gathering around the crease. Rockers lost his helmet. I think that's Rotundi, who's bucketless at the moment. Babin laying down in his crease, and now he'll get back to his feet. Rotundi is heading to the box. So is Alex Johnson. So we'll see what this results in, as they're evened up in the boxes right now. Nothing up on the scoreboard yet. Shots right now 2 aside, 16-13 to go in period number 1. I see 2 minutes only on the Motor City side. Prowlers have a power play unit out there, so it looks like the Prowlers will get their first quality power play of the night. They were 0 for 3 last night on the man advantage, and that helped the Rockers jump to second in the FPHL in the penalty kill at 83.1%. Prowlers still 5th on the power play at 22.1%. Rockers need to send an extra man to the box to serve the 2 for Rotundi. We'll let you know as soon as the penalties come down exactly what they are. But this is the first Prowlers power play of the night, but it starts with a shorthanded break. The backhand, that was Spintsov, who's just slid it wide. Shoulders away by Sokolov on the shot by Scott Koash, and it's the Rockers who get the first opportunities on the Prowlers power play. As Spintsov was able to chip it by, he got a step, just slipped it wide. And Koash on the second opportunity had his shot stopped by Makar Sokolov. Prowlers switch up the unit. There's Dalton Young weaving his way through, gets by, pass across looking for Jay. He couldn't get it on net. Jay, Young, Chartrand, Merritt, and Schumacher on this power play unit, but sent all the way down to Sokolov. And now Merritt flying up the ice, bangs it off the boards, slides to Babin. He'll just send it to the corner wall, and now Schumacher as the Prowlers set up. Jay, toe drag shot, stopped by Babin. Jay again off the side of the net. Now Vanderweel comes out with it, hassled by a couple of Prowlers, and he draws a penalty as the clearing attempt hit Frank Schumacher. And it looks like that will negate the rest of the Prowlers power play, as hooking is the call and Dalton Jay the guilty party. So play 57 seconds of 4-on-4, and then 1 minute and 3 of a power play coming for Motor City. Win walks down the board, centering feed given right to Brian Parsons. Parsons flies up the right wing side, pulls up, trying to send it towards the net, knocked away. Colton, watched by Graham, he'll curl back, give it over to Wynn, and now up to Koash. Tries to make a move, ends up feeding it over here to Spintsov, dangling, gets behind the net, and Federley takes it from him, but it's kept in by Colton. His shot to tip down by Wynn and wide. Wynn gives it over to Koash. He'll just send it deeper up the wall. Wynn again as Rotundi set to come out of the box. Wynn long range shot stopped by Sokolov. And in 1 second, Ryan Rotundi will be released from the penalty box, and we'll have a Rockers power play. 14-13 to go in period 1. No score yet. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumbcoats professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Rockers power play coming up in just a second as Ryan Rotundi set to step out of the penalty box just about as this puck is dropped. There'll be a Motor City man advantage for 1 minute and 3 seconds. Off the draw, Schumacher able to fire it the length of the ice. So here come the Rockers to begin their power play. Banked off the back wall. Now Milam down towards TJ Delaney. Taken into the wall by Federley. Milam, a drive, just goes wide. I think that hit something in front, and it's cleared down ice. Prowlers will get a change. 25 seconds left on the Rockers power play. Quick up to Conway. He retreats back into his own end. And now the pass comes across to Koash with a step. Stopped by Sokolov. Final seconds ticking off the Rockers power play. Conway with a long-range try, deflected high. I think that one did go out of play, and they'll say it did indeed go out of play. So we'll get a whistle and a face-off. Both teams with a successful penalty kill so far. We're just under 7 minutes into it. Alex Johnson will take this face-off in the defensive end. Arnott gives it to Graham, and Johnson had it taken away by Wynn, who rims it up the boards. George Holt in there. They continue to battle for it on the half wall. Graham pulls it out. He takes a bump. And now Federley behind the net. Tried to feed it out to Johnson. He has it. Couldn't get all he wanted on that shot. So it's lifted out by Tristan Wells. Schumacher back for it. Off the wall, got through. Ends up at center on the stick of Jonathan Giuliano, the vet. Colton quick up. Blocked off by Arnott. He'll dump it back in. Babin plays it and leaves it for Devon Fields. Foley gets in there on the forecheck. DeCumbus tried a centering feed. Pops out to Parsons. Wrist shot. Deflected off the crossbar. They jam away and score! Dan Chartrand, I think, jammed it home. And the Prowlers score first and take a 1-0 lead. That first shot from Parsons, a seeing eye shot, ended up hitting the crossbar, I believe. They jammed away for a few moments, and I think this will be Dan Chartrand's 5th of the season. We'll see how they score it, as there was a number of Prowlers around the net, but that all started by the forecheck of Evan Foley to turn the puck over and give his team another opportunity in deep. Svintsov right on, stopped by Sokolov. And Johnson fires it out. Passed over to Kowash. Now back across. Rotundi. Up to the right wing side, that's Svintsov, who dumps it in. Conway trying to track it down. He and Deck come together in the corner. Svintsov lays it back behind the net towards Conway. Turning on a defender. It's Deck who's watching him. But the pass eludes everybody. And Fields has to retreat back to center. Dump back in. As we approach 11 minutes to go here in period 1. Parsons over to Dalton J. Makes a move at center. Gets in. And his long-range shot gloved and held by Trevor Babin with 10:50 to go in period number 1. They're calling it Chartrand from Decumbus, officially. So it is indeed Dan Chartrand's 5th of the year. Milam dumps it out. Schumacher trying to track it down, got through him. He's hassled by Gullo. Schumacher keeps it away. Gives it to Dalton J. Out to Merritt. Tried to send Sim on his way. And now the pass to Jay got through. Sim finally able to track it down with his shot off a stick. Ends up in the corner. Milam fed it out to Gullo. Sim dances through a check from Wells, who has the puck now. Milam, cross-ice speed. Gullo kicks it up to his stick. And now Milam dumping it in. Heinzel behind the net. Out to Sim. Heinzel pulls back, finds Parsons. Parsons working out. Chartrand dumps it in. Off the boards, Graham able to keep it in momentarily. Now they dig away on the half wall. Here's Colton. He sends it into offensive territory. Heinzel trying to work it out. Young at his first attempt knocked down, but he gets it to Chartrand, who finds Decumbus. Pulls up. Graham tried to send it towards the net. Now Chartrand trying to feed it in front. Ends up coming up the wall. And Young comes all the way across. Couldn't keep it in, though, at the line. Prowlers have to touch up. As Colton waits for his team to complete a change. Sent it right over towards the bench. That's usually a dangerous play. Could draw a two-man man on the ice penalty. Didn't that time, though. Federley out high to Schumacher. Walks the line. Gave it back, but it was taken away. And great play by Austin Federley to prevent a 2-on-0 the other direction after Frank Schumacher's return feed ended up being a turnover. Svintsov played it off of Federley. Johnson takes it over to Merritt, fresh off the bench. Outside shot stopped by Babin. Dump deep into Prowler ice. Motor City making changes as Parsons finds Dalton J. He's shoved off the puck by Fields. Wells tips it along. Parsons to Dalton J. Rotundi turns it the other direction. Battled for right by the blue line. Drops back to Rotundi. Up to Wells. He's working on Parsons. Those two dropped the mitts at least a little bit last night. Now we have a 2-on-2 rush the other direction. Sim working on the forward. Gullo to Jay. His shot knocked down. Heinzel's shot kicked out by Babin. And the rebound cleared out by Rotundi using his legs. And now he'll dump it in. Boy, Dalton J took that shot, but he had two uncovered teammates coming down the backside, it looked like. Elected to take the shot. Heinzel had a decent opportunity on the rebound. And Trevor Babin comes up with the answer, keeps it a 1-goal game. Chartrand off the boards. Vanderweel back the other way to Delaney. Taken away. Quick shot from the point and in and out of the glove of Makar Sokolov. That was Milam who stepped into that puck. Chartrand will dump it in and get a change. Babin plays it, 6:45 to go in period number 1. Graham almost with a steal. Now he has it. To Johnson, had to kick it up to his stick. Then Johnson trying to wrap. They jammed away at the crease for a moment. Couldn't get anything to go. Nice little turnover there by Matt Graham. Prowlers keeping the pressure on for now. Federley and Johnson come in on Svinsov. Federley takes the puck. Now it's Johnson. To Federley, his pass a little too hot to handle. And Conway works into offensive territory, stepping around Braden Deck. Svinsov played it towards Conway. He gets it to the point to win. Goes D to D, finds Colton. Back out high to Conway, floats it down low, and Colton tipped that one a little too high. Federley picks it up, dumps it out. Prowlers get a full change. Nice little up and down shift for both sides right there as Wynn tips that one in. Schumacher gives it up to Sim, now on to Dalton J. He dumps it in, Babin plays it, threw it right into a couple of bodies. Sneath ends up pulling out the puck, and he finds Gullo, who gave it away. Sim floats it towards Jay, couldn't find the puck on that feed. Sneath rims it around. That puck will go all the way down, and just enough for an icing, a whistle, and a face-off, and we'll take a timeout. It's been a while since we've had a whistle. Up and down action, still 1-0. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network. Back here in Fraser, 5:04 left to go in period 1. And get ready because we're probably going to go to another break here shortly. We are scheduled for one more, but since there was so much time between whistles over these last few minutes, we didn't get one for a while. And Chartrand, the only goal so far, if you're just joining us, Will Wiggleman solo tonight. Running the camera, running the clock, and of course, talking to you as we go through this game here tonight. Prowlers shorthanded as well on the ice, not just here. Still missing Mitch Jones, Tucker Tynan, and Liam Freeborn as they were last night. Add Tucker Scantleberry to that list tonight. They're playing a man short, and none of those three are insignificant to the success of the Port Huron Prowlers this season. Or no, those four, excuse me, are insignificant to the success of the Prowlers this season that are sitting and watching this one from off the ice. Here's Fields chipping it out, turned on to Danny Vanderweel. He pulls up, gives it back to the point, got past Fields. Babin coming all the way out to play it as Chartrand was the first one chasing after the puck. And Babin almost gave it away to Chartrand. Fields rubs him out along the wall. Schumacher at the point. Gets it down to the captain Foley. Rimmed around. Heinzel pinches in. Cycled back. Rotundi, play off his skate. Foley back to the net. He scores! There was a screen in front. Dan Chartrand providing it. Evan Foley sent it through. And the Prowlers take a 2-0 lead. Off the turnover, Evan Foley floated it towards the glove side of Trevor Babin. Again, Chartrand providing the moving screen. That's the 8th goal of the season for the Prowlers captain. He makes it 2-0. They're late in period 1, and Sokolov has that one bounced to him. He'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. We'll take a break. Evan Foley has doubled the Prowlers' advantage. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! Dan Chartrand and Vinny DeCumbis picking up the assists, which I think are generous assists because I thought Foley just kind of took it right off the turnover, but no one will complain about extra points. And if that holds up, that'll be DeCumbis' second helper of the night and Chartrand's second point of the night. That quick shot off the draw just missed wide. Here is DeCumbis hustling out. He gets the red line and dumps it in. Babin leaves it for Milam. Sim tried to pinch in at the line. And now Merritt comes in, gives to the slot to Sim, makes a move, makes another, slides it through on the backhand. And it's poked away from Dalton Young, who is looking for that loose puck. Deck dumps it around. Babin stops it. Milam poked off his stick. Sim around the net. Lost the handle. Sim again. Try the Michigan. And that didn't work. Sim lost it. Flying back for it was Dalton J. He'll give it over to Deck. Now for Young. That puck tipped into the crowd by Matt Graham in the neutral zone, so we'll need a new biscuit, and we'll get another face-off. Looks like it will come at center. The Prowlers holding a 2-0 lead through nearly 18 minutes, 17 and a half minutes of play here tonight. Tied up there, and Gullo able to work it back to Colton. Quickly across, Graham heads after it. Back pass up towards Johnson. He works in with Federley, waiting for help. Gives it down to Federley. Back out in front, hopped over Graham's stick. Are not hustling after it. Watched by Wynn. He'll play it off the back wall. Johnson looking for Graham. He'll have to come back for it. Now to the near side, Heinzel. Pass got through Federley. Wynn and Graham come together right in front of the penalty boxes. And now back to Colton. Gullo as the Prowlers trying to complete a change. Gullo lofts it in right on Sokolov. He'll gather it in and get the cover. And the whistle and face-off. That top line for the Prowlers, DeCumbis, Foley, and Chartrand. Known a little bit more as a defensive line, especially those three. But tonight they've provided the offense for the Prowlers. It's a hard-working line, which helps on the forecheck, and that's exactly how they've scored their goals, getting in on the forecheck and causing turnovers. Here they are back on the forecheck again. Rotundi had it taken away by Foley. His centering feed got through everyone. Schumacher puts it back around. Chartrand couldn't pull it out. Now DeCumbis back towards Chartrand. Out high, Schumacher walks the line, finds Parsons from the outside, stopped by Babin. Foley couldn't turn it back on net. Motor City tries an outlet as we hit the final minute of play in the opening period. TJ Delaney with a steal behind the net. He's hassled by Schumacher. Able to turn it to Kowash. Turnaround shot kicked out by Sokolov in the splits. And Tim Delaney walking the line, gives it down deep. And now he'll feed back to the point to Milam. Back to Delaney. Svensov and Merritt came together. Ends up on the near side. 20 seconds left in the period. They dig away in the corner. And now Parsons finds it. And he's able to get it to Sim in the final 10. On to Dalton J. Slips past Kowash to the net. And he just couldn't get that one to go. It's dumped behind the cage. Prowlers try one more centering feed. That's going to do it. Through 20 minutes of play here in Fraser. It's the Prowlers, the shorthanded Prowlers, with a 2-0 lead. Shots on goal in that period favoring Port Huron 13-9, and both goals coming from their so-called defensive line of Chartrand, Foley, and DeCumbis. Coming up in the first intermission, we take a look back at the Prowlers' Michigan rivals. They've had 3 in-state rivals in their time in the FBHL. We take a look back at the times and the fates of all 3, including these Motor City Rockers. We'll also take a look at some storylines around the FBHL, out-of-town scoreboard, and more. And it's all coming up on the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network. But what a period for the Prowlers, as they had everything stacked against them. And they come out and take a 2-0 lead into the first break. Well, the weather is getting warmer, so get something new at the Port Huron Prowlers team store. The store features lace-up sweatshirts, mitts dolls, team issue apparel, and more, with new merch coming in all season long. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every game or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your po-ho best with gear from the Prowlers team store. 2-0 Port Huron through 20 minutes here in Fraser. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Corner shot. Back to Michaelis in the corner. 6 seconds. 5. Dion fires it through. It's off the side of the net. Michaelis needs to get there. 3, 2. Dion fires and just wide. And Battle Creek has won their first game in franchise history.
Minnie moved up to Johnson. Backhand chip up to Graham. He's got Jay going to the net. Gives it to him. He scores! Dalton Jay backdoor gives the Prowlers a 3-2 lead with 3:22 to go.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. We're through 20 minutes of play between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers, and against many of the odds, it's the Prowlers with the 2-0 lead. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And before we talk about that opening period, let's take a look around the FPHL. We start with our out-of-town scoreboard. Only one game in action right now, but 3 more scheduled to come up later. And the Blue Ridge Bobcats have a 1-0 lead on the Elmira River Sharks. Elmira took the first game of that 2-game set in Elmira last night. That was a 3-2 final, but Joel Frazee has Blue Ridge on the board first through the opening 20 minutes of that one. Getting set to drop the puck in just about 10 minutes, the Carolina Thunderbirds visiting the Mississippi Seawolves for the second straight night. And when it looked like Carolina had all of its guys back, which they do, Seawolves end up coming away with a 2-1 victory. Cody Karpinski and Joe Shepard seem to be scheduled for the second straight night to start. That's at least what I'm seeing right now, but we'll see if that holds up as that game gets set to go again just about 10 minutes from now. Also dropping the puck about 10 minutes from now, the Baton Rouge Zydeco look to pick up the pieces after getting dropped 11-1 last night by the Columbus River Dragons. They're in Columbus again. 7:05 puck drop there. And finally, the Danbury Hat-Tricks and the Watertown Wolves in game 2 of their 3-3 in Watertown. The Wolves took the game last night. It took extra hockey, but Watertown came away with a victory, trying to do the same tonight, and a Watertown victory would help out the Motor City Rockers as they are being chased by the Danbury Hat-Tricks for that second seed in the Empire Division. That one is a 7:30 puck drop from Watertown. Take a look at some storylines around the league today. Of course, we already mentioned it. River Dragons hanging 11 on the Zydeco last night. That's the 14th win in a row for Columbus, as they're on some kind of a win streak right now. Of course, we mentioned it earlier on, 13 of those 14 games have come against the bottom 2 teams in the respective divisions, and 3 of those 4 teams are not currently in the playoffs and likely will. And the 2 in the Continental, the Blue Ridge Bobcats and the Baton Rouge Zydeco, the Dragons have played a number of times, will more than likely not make the playoffs. It would take some kind of a historic collapse from either the Prowlers or the Mississippi Seawolves for either of them to make the playoffs. The Dragons do have 1 win over the Carolina Thunderbirds in that time, but again, the rest of them against the league's bottom feeders. Take that as you will. You still have to play the teams on your schedule and beat the teams on your schedule, and that's what the Dragons have been doing. Later last night, the Mississippi Seawolves claimed Brendan Hussey off of waivers. He did not win the Commissioner's Cup with the Prowlers, but he was with Baton Rouge. His brother Greg was traded to Carolina this week, so there's a likelihood that he ends up in Carolina one way or the other. The Blue Ridge Bobcats added a couple of more bodies in Michael and Nicholas Redmond. They are actually unrelated as far as my research shows, but they were both playing for the Waterford Sharks in the MIHL prior to this. Prowlers with that 2-0 lead. They outshot the Rockers 13-9 in period number 1. And now what they need to do is maintain it, as they had a solid first period defensively last night, only giving up 6 shots to the Motor City Rockers, but that turned into, of course, the Rockers picking it up in the second and ending up taking that game by a 5-1 final. We'll see if the Prowlers can maintain it. Of course, they are still short a number. They were short a number of players coming into this game, and they're just hoping to pull out some points out of this one before they head into a bye week next week. They'll have time to rest up, heal up, and get set for a big month of March with plenty of home games, plenty of games overall. Prowlers have 4 3-3s in the 5 weekends in March coming up. So lots of hockey coming up for the Prowlers in the stretch run that they'll have to rest up for next week. We get set for second period action. Makar Sokolov getting set in the goal crease to our right. Of course, 9 saves, 9 Rockers shots in the opening 20. And Trevor Babin in the goal crease to our left. He made 11 saves on 13 shots. If you're reading the live stats and see Ricky Gonzalez on there, it's actually Trevor Babin between the pipes for Motor City tonight. We're just about set for puck drop for the second period between the Prowlers and the Rockers. Matt Graham and Danny Vanderweel are set to drop the puck for period number 2 as the Prowlers try to maintain this lead, and we're underway in the second. TJ Delaney tried to dump it in. Federley works it to Graham, and now on to Adam Heinzel flying in. He'll dump it around. Rotundi bumped by Graham. Arnott comes flying in. He ends up dropping his man. He's going to get a penalty as icing is whistled. As Paul Arnott came in to pinch in during that battle, he ended up blowing up one of the Rockers. They're going to signal interference, and the Rockers power play, the top-ranked power play in the FPHL, will go to work. They had an abbreviated power play in the first. This time they'll get the full 2 minutes. This penalty coming just 27 seconds into period 2. So the penalty kill straightened up by True Balance Chiropractic. Again, 1 for 1 tonight are the Prowlers on the PK. Not sure what all the discussion is about right now between referees and linesmen. Referees tonight are Adam Fish and Jonathan Paradise. The linesmen, Jacob Kohlmeyer and John Talyu. I think they're discussing where the face-off is because the whistle was for icing. And now they'll take the face-off outside of Prowler territory to begin this power play. So Koash tried to dump it in. Instead, it's forced back out. And the Rockers will have to reset. There's Spintsov. Try to feed it towards Gullo. It's poked away. Milam able to glove it down. Foley collects back in his own end. I think it's delayed offsides against the Rockers. And before Foley sends it the length of the ice. Rockers work it out. It's Milam on the left side boards. Johnson and Spintsov dig away for it behind the net. And now Decumbus sends it out. Merritt skates into it. He's in short-handed with Johnson. Merritt Johnson, what a save by Babin, stretching all the way across. Rockers back the other way. Gullo had it poked off his stick. Koash gets it back down to Gullo in the corner. Koash, Milam gives it back, down to Gullo. In tight, looking for Conway. The net comes off. What a save by Trevor Babin, though, down at the other end. Merritt and Johnson came in a 2-on-0 short-handed. And Trevor Babin stretched post to post to make the save with the pad. Power play continues for the Rockers as 40 seconds left on it. Puck escapes the zone. Colton feeds it up to TJ Delaney. Turns on the Jets, gets it out, but Rockers couldn't head to the line. Jay fighting for it, and Wynn able to knock it away. Graham. And cycle it back deep. Colton up to Giuliano, watched by Parsons. Giuliano on the backhand behind the net. Final 10 seconds ticking off the Rockers' power play. And now we're back to 5-on-5 as Colton. Rissa towards the net, deflected wide by Giuliano. Now Wynn steps into it. It's stopped by Sokolov. Wynn again at the line. Wrist shot blocked partially. And now Parsons will skate it out. Parsons floats it towards Jay, knocked down by Giuliano, who takes Dalton Jay into the boards. Foley caused a turnover momentarily. Giuliano came back to take it for his team. Prowlers 2 for 2 on the PK tonight. Here comes TJ Sneath working on Parsons' pull-up shot. Was blocked down. Holt couldn't turn it back towards the net. Holt works up the wall. Holt still with it. Out high. Turnaround shot. Stopped by Sokolov. He didn't know where it was. He did get enough of it to knock it to the corner. Now Foley up to Chartrand, has DeCumbus breaking. They'll play it off the boards in that direction. Sent back the other way though. Foley to Schumacher. Chartrand tips it in. And he heads off for a change. We approach 4 minutes gone in this second period. Koash works in, try to move on Heinzel. That didn't work. Fields kept it in momentarily before it slides out to where Tim Delaney is waiting. Dump back in. Sokolov plays it to Heinzel. Tipped along and out to center where Milam fires it across to Svensov. He pulls up. Drops it to the line. It's Tim Delaney. Now Merritt gets it to Jay. Played it off the glass. Koash tried to glove it down. He ended up down on the ice as he was doing it. Milam works it forward, and then he finds it back in his own end. Little ping pong hockey going on right now. Here's Svensov trying to make a move on Dalton Young, who poked it right away. Comes out high. First shot pops up in the air, and Sokolov reaches up and grabs it for a whistle and a face-off. And now Koash and Heinzel, no strangers to each other, getting into it a little bit. Well, we'll take a break. Just over 5 minutes gone in the Hungry Howie's second period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. .58 to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Prowlers still with a 2-0 lead as we get set to drop the puck deep in their end. Alex Johnson fires it out towards Federley, who tips it along, heads after it, but he was on his own side of center. So icing called, and we'll do it again. Back in Makar Sokolov's end. Each team with a shot so far in this second period. Prowlers leading in that department 14-10. Off the face-off, Young slipped it to the middle of the ice. Nobody home for the Prowlers, and Giuliano sent a pass that was touched wide. Rockers trying to keep it in. Colton plays it down low, and Delaney's shot off the stick of Dalton Young and caught and held by Makar Sokolov, and the Prowlers catch a break there as they could not clear the zone. Makar Sokolov able to make the save. They'll switch up all 5 on the ice. Evan Foley's line seems to have been the best line for the Prowlers so far tonight, is out there. Shot by Wynn, hit traffic on the way through, came back to him. Now Wynn around the net. Still with it. Turns it around to Gullo. Drops it off for Sneath from the outside. Oh, no, don't think that got all the way through to Sokolov. Wynn at the line, sent it through, they score! That was a bouncing puck. It got deflected. It looked like, not sure what it hit, but the Rockers have cut the Prowlers' lead in half. That puck was on edge when Wynn let it go, and it changed direction on the way through. Not sure if it hit a stick or simply may have just bounced off the ice. We'll see who they give it to. Motor City's on the board with 14:04 to go in period number 2. Delaney dumps it around. Rockers with a good start to this period. They're back in the offensive end. How big does this save from Trevor Babin during the Prowlers penalty kill look now? Vanderweel centering feed. Sokolov forced to make a couple of saves. Sits there in the crease. Vanderweel trying to grab it on the other side. And Sokolov stays strong. Rotundi dumps it out. Conway tried to collect at the blue line. He's rubbed out by Adam Heinzel behind the net. Sim tried to move it along. Koash spinning. Sim and Koash come together in the corner. And now Fields walks the line, sent it down low, tipped wide by Scott Koash. Rotundi spun down to the ice, so the Prowlers come out. Fields, though, kept it away from Sim. Koash makes a move around Heinzel. Koash still with it. Turned around, tried. Stopped by Sokolov. Koash drew a penalty. So delayed penalty coming up against the Prowlers. They'll blow it dead. And another hooking call coming against Port Huron. It's Adam Heinzel to the box. So with the Rockers holding all the momentum, they'll now get their third power play of the game. Rockers power play 0 for 2 so far. Had a good opportunity here to tie the game. Off the face-off, here's Colton. Walking, giving to Vanderweel. That's in. Shot blocked by Parsons. Wraparound try. Wouldn't go for Vanderweel. I think he may not have taken the extra step necessary to wrap it all the way around. And that close to a tied hockey game. Colton up to Giuliano. Rink wide feed finds Delaney. DJ Delaney lost it in the corner, almost lost his edge. But Schumacher couldn't get it out. Delaney back on it. Pops out towards Vanderweel. He walks in, pass across, up of Parsons, and he dumps it down. Babin comes all the way out of his goal crease to play it. And the quick up to Colton. Prowlers in the midst of a change. He has Kowash all by himself. Kowash the backhand, he scores. Prowlers get caught changing, and Scott Kowash makes them pay. Trevor Babin will get an assist on that, and just like that, we're tied up at 2. Prowlers all headed off to change. Left one man back. And the long lead pass found Colton, who found Kowash all by himself. A couple of moves to the backhand. After a goal last night, Scott Kowash has another. And that is his team high 20th of the year. We have a brand new hockey game. It's also a power play goal for Kowash. Here's Conway with a steal, stopped by Sokolov. Conway tried to put it back out in front. And now DeCumbus just trying to work it out. All Rockers here in this second period. Svintsev keeps it in. Rim deep. Young poked it along. Now Chartrand couldn't work it out. Kowash from the outside, rising shot. Missed. And they'll blow it dead. With a few ticks. Under 11 minutes to go here in period number 2. Mike Wynn and Scott Kowash have the goals for Motor City. Here in this second period, they've tied the game. Puck chopped along down the wall. Young trying to make something happen. Tried to get it out towards Foley. And instead the Rockers move it back out. Sneath. And that puck comes back into Prowler ice. Rockers in a delayed offside situation now. They touch up. Sim tried to work it out. Now Jay steps around his man with a quick shot, and that missed the net. Young gets it deep. Merritt and Rotundi battling for it. Sim able to take it away, but Wells finds it, plays it not off the scoreboard. Look, I don't know how it didn't hit the scoreboard, but Prowlers go back the other direction. Young had it poked off his stick. Deck kept it in front of him. And now Graham into offensive territory. Pulls up on Johnson for a one-timer. Steered away by Babin. Ends up on the near side boards. Graham off the far wall. Vanderweel and Johnson came together. Dumped back in by the Rockers. 9:20 to go in period number 2. Motor City has tied this hockey game with a couple of early goals in the period. They're looking for more. As Wynn comes flying in, working on Schumacher. Couldn't get a shot off. Now Svintsev turning, firing, sticked away by Sokolov. Conway and Federley come together. Federley down in the corner. Federley slow to his skates. Puck still there. They're still digging away. 3 Prowlers and 2 Rockers in there. Federle goes down to the ice. He comes up yelling, and he and Conway are going to go. Federle and Conway behind the net. Conway getting some left hands in. They tie up, and the linesmen come in and say enough of that, as Austin Federle has a lot of words for Declan Conway. 8:34 to go in period 2. Federle still barking at Conway all the way to the box. We will take a timeout. Rockers with 2 to tie things up. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. 2-2 our score with 8:34 left to go in period number 2. It's been all Motor City Rockers in this middle frame. They're up on shots 8-2. They have the only goals of the period. They made it 2-2. Prowlers hoping that maybe that fight by Austin Federle can get a little bit of momentum going. Sim gets it up towards Heinzel, trying to continue to move it along. Now Svintsov works in, around to the forehand. Tried to tuck it around the pad of Sokolov. He missed the net. Now Kowash turns the corner. Fanned on the shot. Arnott picks it up. Tried to bump it off the boards. And it comes back to Prowler ice, where Heinzel collects. Heinzel up towards Jay. Off the boards. And now comes up towards the Cummins. He's able to poke it in. Cummins and Wynn after it. Wynn works it around. Giuliano pushed up there by Foley. TJ Delaney, and it bumped back by Chartrand. And it's Rotundi's attempt to get it out. He finds Delaney. He lost it though to Chartrand. Giuliano tried to loft it out, got past Parsons. Delaney after it. He couldn't get there ahead of Frank Schumacher though, who rims it up in Chartrand's direction. Gets the red line, dumps it in. Fields gives it up the wall to Giuliano. Snaith over to Wells. Back to TJ Sneath. He and Parsons head after it. Parsons takes Sneath in hard. Now it's Chartrand firing a pass across that Holt gloves down. Holt and Johnson came together. Schumacher will try this side. Stopped up right in front of the Prowler bench before it's dumped in. Rotundi kept it away from Matt Graham. Wells up the wall, turned it over. Graham with a quick shot. Glove down by Babin. Parsons from the point. His shot stopped by Trevor Babin. Sim back on the puck. Pops out. Heinzel trying to send it towards the net. Graham to Johnson. Now Parsons up high. Walks. Gives back to Alex Johnson. Shot gloved and covered by Trevor Babin. He will hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 5:51 left to go in period number 2. Prowlers finally getting some pressure going on these last couple of shifts. Finding just a little bit of offensive zone time. They've had the last 3 shots on net since the fight. Off the draw, Schumacher towards the net. Sticked away by Babin. And Schumacher dumps it back in. Tim Delaney works it around, taken by DeCumbis. Pass ends up on the stick of Young. One-timer stopped by Babin, the rebound. The Prowlers couldn't poke it back on net. DeCumbis able to send that pass back. Now Milam, quick up, finds Spintsov. Drop pass to Gullo on the wall. Turning back, gave it away. Here comes Matt Graham with a step. Milam hustling back. Graham with a shot off the glove of Trevor Babin. Young back in his own end. Graham on it again. Now to Chartrand with some space. He'll shoot. Stopped by Babin. It leaks behind him. Johnson came flying in as that puck was loose in the crease. Babin fell back and got on top of it to get a whistle. But Alex Johnson was coming flying in for that puck, which was loose for a moment. We will take a break. Still 2-2. Under 5 to play in period 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! Prowlers have been pressuring. They've had their chances. They have the last 6 shots of this game, but we still stay deadlocked at 2 with 4:53 to go in period 2. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network, calling the game and running the computer as always, but also today running the camera as well. In the business, we call that a one-man band. I call it Will Solo. Vanderweel and Graham on this faceoff. Comes to Johnson. Shot goes off a stick and wide. Schumacher kicked it to keep it alive, but now he's forced back to center. Parsons gets in, slows up. He'll dump it in. TJ Delaney working his way out. At his pocket picked by Matt Graham. He's back in. Tried to drop pass to Johnson, but Vanderweel took it away. And Johnson back on it. Johnson turns it towards the net. Chartrand picks it up. In tight shot. Stopped by Babin. Lofted out by Colton. Gloved down by Chartrand. He'll fire it right back in. Colton to win. Had his head up. He fell as he made the long lead pass on to Kowash. Now Jay off of Kowash's stick. Sokolov, there go in and out of his glove. Almost a dangerous time there for the Prowlers. Jay able to get it out, but his pass was behind Tristan Sim. Now Koash first on it. Rockers moving back up. It's Svintsov on the left wing side. Schumacher comes over to dump Svintsov. And now Jay sends Sim in. He shoots off the post. He hit the post. Koash the other direction. He pulls up towards Svintsov, looking for a centering feed. Nobody's there. Now Svintsov looking for Gullo, had it taken away by Evan Foley. Lofted out. Fields couldn't glove it down, but Rotundi's backing him up in his own end. Braden Deck over to Young. Back to Deck. Up towards Foley, off the boards. Icing waved off. Rotundi to Sneath. Now Deck recollects for the Prowlers. Bounces back to him. Young tried to fire that out. His stick snapped. Wells to the back end. Stopped by Sokolov. Rebound bounces around in front of the crease. And Tecumseh able to steal it away. Here comes Tecumseh with Chartrand. Holt getting back to defend. Chartrand towards the net, stopped by Babbins. Tecumseh battling for the rebound, ends up behind the net. Wells couldn't get it out as Graham stole it from him. And now Sneath works the other way. Sneath pulls up. Now Graham takes it away. As Johnson with him, he'll dump it in that direction. Johnson first on it. To the point, Arnott reaches out for it. Finds Heinzel to the net, knocked down by Babin. Vanderweel works out, 3 Prowlers surround him. He chips it around, Arnott got a shot away. Stopped by Sokolov. And poked back to the near side boards. Approaching a minute and a half to go in the period. Sim with a shot off the blocker of Babin. Prowlers keep it in, but only for a moment as Koash skates it out. Here's Giuliano as a man going to net. It's TJ Delaney. He tried to drop it back to Koash. And now Wynn at the point. Just gets it deep. Delaney watched by Schumacher, centering feet towards Colton. Puck almost popped out of play. That time it does. And we'll get a whistle and a face-off with 1:03 to go in period number 2. And Dalton Young broke his stick earlier in the shift. The blade of his stick actually cleared the glass and ended up in the crowd. So a nice take home for the fan to get part of Dalton Young's stick after it popped up over the glass on that play. Face-off will come back to Prowler territory. 63 seconds up on the clock in a 2-2 hockey game. Of course, 20 more minutes scheduled after this. And it comes out to center at the final minute. Colton to Wynn. Koash tips it along. Conway skates into it, winds and fires off the stick of Sokolov, put back on net, batted around, and they blow it dead. I don't know why they blew it dead. I think they thought Sokolov had it, maybe. That was a very quick whistle, and the Prowlers catch a break. That puck was batted up in the air a couple of times. We will get another face-off deep in Prowler territory. Alex Johnson to take it against Scott Koash. Turnaround shot by Conway, taken away by Young. Colton back in his own end, leaves it for Wynn. Plays it up. Svintsov with 25. Waits, cross-ice speed to Wynn. This pass knocked down by Heinzel. Goes back into Prowler ice. Wynn and Young after it. Now Heinzel with 10. It's dumped out, shouldered down by Conway at center. He'll dump it back in, and that will do it for period number 2. Prowlers get 2 in the first, Rockers get 2 in the second. And heading into the third, we will have a 2-2 hockey game. Shots on goal knotted up at 10 in that second period. Prowlers with a 23-19 lead in the shots on goal category for the game, as they attempt to pick up a split in this weekend series against Motor City, trying to salvage the split after the 5-1 loss last night. Coming up in the second intermission, we'll chat about what this game has looked like so far. It's been an interesting one. All Prowlers in the first, all Rockers for much of that second. And that's how we end up with a tied hockey game heading into the third. Rockers get 2 early on in that second period to tie the score up at 2. So secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they host the Blue Ridge Bobcats for the very first time on Friday, March 8th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning the QR code on your screen now. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code on your screen now to enjoy Prowlers hockey live and in person at the Old Barn McMorran Place the way it was meant to be enjoyed. Prowlers and Rockers will head to the third tied, but first they'll sit in the locker rooms and chat about it. And we will be right back to break down those first 2 periods of play. And we have much more coming up on the intermission report, so stick around right here on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should've just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. They're cleaning up the Chuckapucks, and it's 2-2 through 40 minutes of play. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, they didn't start the intermission clock for the entire time we were just at that commercial break, so this may turn out to be a very extended intermission, so bear with us as the clock was sitting there, not started for nearly 5 minutes, I would say. Hopefully they'll figure it out when the players are ready to come out on the ice and there's still 5 minutes left up there. But either way, 2-2 our score through 2 periods of play as the Prowlers and the Rockers are battling for the 13th time this season. Rockers have won 7 of the first 12. Prowlers are 5-6-1 this season in the Battle of I-94. Of course, we talked about it ad nauseum this weekend and coming into this game in the pregame open. Prowlers are shorthanded this weekend. They already came in without Mitch Jones, Tucker Tynan, and then we found out they were put on the IR. Then we found out Liam Freeborn wasn't ready to go as he had something nagging going on. So he wasn't ready to go this weekend. So that's your number 1 goaltender, your top forward, and a top 2 defenseman out for this weekend. And then on top of that, tonight Tucker Scantleberry had a little bit of soreness swelling up from the hit that he took from Dakota Seaman last weekend against the Watertown Wolves, the one that earned Seaman a 7-game suspension. And at that point, Scantleberry was trying to play through it. He did last night, but wasn't able to go today. So that put the Prowlers not only down another top 6 forward, but another skater altogether as far as the number of players they have dressed tonight. Is they're just dressing 9 forwards and 6 defensemen, 1 short of the number that you are allowed in the FPHL. It's not like they had the space on the roster to sign anybody else. They've already used both of their IR spots and have 2 other players not on IR who are unable to go. But that's the reality. When the FPHL knocked down the roster limit to 19 games, that became the reality for teams. You have a few injuries and all of a sudden you can't fill your roster sometimes. We've seen it around the league at different points this season. Heck, Binghamton signed, or not signed, but they dressed one of their goaltenders as a right winger during a game earlier this year. That's how far it's gotten at times this season around the league. And Prowlers are experiencing that right now, and luckily for them, they will have a week off coming up. We'll show you more about that when we get to our upcoming schedule for the Prowlers in our next bit of this intermission report. But Prowlers came out flying in that first period. They were able to control play for much of the game or much of the period, and they were getting in on the forecheck, but it's tough to maintain that high pace and the high physicality that's necessary to play that type of game when you're short players, when you're sore from what was a tough game last night. And that showed in the second as the Rockers came out flying in the first few minutes. They tied it up within the first 9 minutes of the second period, but Then the Prowlers found their game a little bit, found their legs again. They got their opportunities as that period wore along. Shots ended up being 10 apiece, and the Prowlers ended up with 8 of the last 10 in the period overall. And all of those shots coming after Austin Federley's fight with Declan Conway. So maybe that fight got the Prowlers a little bit more involved, woke them up a little bit, gave them a little bit of energy, as they still have 20 more minutes to push through before they can kick back and rest the injuries, rest the legs, and ice up, as they have a week off next week, but still 20 more minutes to go in this one, and we'll have the third period coming up for you next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Second intermission wrapping up here at Big Boy Arena, as the Prowlers and Rockers are tied up at 2 goals apiece heading into the third. Will Wiggleman back with you once again on the PHP Network. Thanks again for joining us for this Saturday night game. Little early start time here at Big Boy Arena, a 6:05 start. And because of that, last time we checked in on the out-of-town scoreboard, only one other game was in action. Well, they're all in action now, although not all of them have found goals. As the Blue Ridge Bobcats, we start with the 2 that have found goals. Blue Ridge Bobcats and the Elmira River Sharks also tied at 2 through 40 minutes. Joel Frazee and Jacob Wolf had the 2 for the Bobcats. Davide Gaeta and Darius Davidson have the goals for the River Sharks. Davidson and Mark Posar with 2-point nights for Elmira as they get set for period number 3. The Carolina Thunderbirds and Mississippi Seawolves are trading goals down in Biloxi. Jan Salak and Nate Keeley have the ones for Carolina. Yanni Liarakos and Sam Turner, the tallies for Mississippi. Liarakos has a goal and a helper in this one. That one is 2-2 through 20 minutes of play. They're through 20 minutes in Columbus, and the Baton Rouge Zydeco have kept the River Dragons off the boards through 20 minutes after giving up 11 last night to the Dragons. It's always a new day in the FPHL. We'll see how they fare over the next 40 minutes, but at least through 20, no goals yet in that one. And their early stages first period in Watertown, nothing yet for the Danbury Hat-Tricks or the Watertown Wolves. So lots of action going on around the FPHL tonight. Of course, this one of the early games of the night. Prowlers won't have much action coming up in the near future as they have a week off. They'll finish the month of February with no more games after this until March. And it is a busy March for the Prowlers. There are 5 weekends in the month of March. Prowlers have 4 3-3s over those 5 weekends. Luckily for them, though, only one real road trip. They go to Danbury the first weekend of March, and from there on, the only other road games in the month are here at Big Boy Arena. But you see there on your screen a 7:30 and a 7 o'clock puck drop for the Friday and Saturday, and then it will be an afternoon game against the Hat-Tricks on that Sunday, as puck drop from Danbury Ice Arena is scheduled for 2 o'clock. So the Prowlers and the Hat-Tricks will play 3-3. Prowlers haven't won in Danbury in many a year, so they're hoping to change those fortunes when they head to Rabbittown coming up in 2 weeks from now. Turning our attention back to this game here tonight. 2-2 are scored through 2. Shots 23-19 in favor of the Prowlers through 2 periods. Both power plays are 0 for 2. And both teams with 11 penalty minutes, so pretty even all around this game. First period you give to the Prowlers, second period you give to the Rockers, and we'll see who wins this third period. Dan Chartrand and Vinny DeCumbus each have 2 points here tonight, as that line has been the catalyst for the offense. At least it was in the first. Everybody was getting some opportunities in the second, especially late in the period. Prowlers got some good looks, but Trevor Babin came up with big saves, as he does just about every night he's in net for the Motor City Rockers, no matter who he's playing. As he gets set over in the goal crease to our right. He has stopped 21 of 23 Prowler shots. Meanwhile, Makar Sokolov in the goal crease to our left, 17 saves on 19 Rockers shots. As both teams get set for period number 3. Prowlers just trying to salvage a split from this weekend. Rockers trying to pick up a sweep after the Prowlers swept them in their January series. As both teams sitting pretty comfortably in their positions in the standings, although the Prowlers are a little less comfortable now as Mississippi pulled within 6 points, and that is 2 regulation wins away from tying Port Huron in the standings. And the Seawolves have been playing a lot better as of late. They just hired a new coach in former Prowler Dustin Skinner. So certainly paramount that the Prowlers get all the points they can, and they'll try and do just that as period 3 is underway. There's Arnott dumping it out. Federley tried to touch it by. He chases after it with Rotundi. They come together. Battle for along the half wall. They continue to dig away right in front of the fans on the glass. Fields pulls it out, but he gave it right to Alex Johnson. Now Federley with a try. That was blocked on the way through, I believe. Heinzel kept it deep. Rotundi taken in by Johnson. Out high to Arnott, turned it towards the net, steered to the corner by Babin. Johnson pulls it out. Out high Arnott, walks the line, wrist shot right into Babin. And he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. And a little extra once again in front of the Motor City netminder. Both teams will make their first changes of the period, 58 seconds into it. Foley and Koash set for this offensive zone faceoff to Babin's left. Off the draw, DeCumbus in on the forecheck, causes a turnover. Foley's shot knocked down. Puck pops high up in the air. Where is it? No one knew where it dropped. It may have landed in the stands. I did not see where that puck landed. I think the Prowlers want a delay of game penalty. I don't even know who the last one to touch it was. Certainly didn't land on the ice, I can say that for sure. Where in the stands it was, I don't know. Schumacher, wrist shot, deflected down, stopped by Babin. Parsons back towards the net, knocked down by traffic in front. And Smithsall gloves it down, gets it out. 3-on-2 for Motor City if they hurry. Milam pulls up. Parsons puts him into the wall. Couple of shots stopped by Sokolov. And Milam plays it off to Smithsall. Now Foley plays it up towards DeCumbus. Now Smithsall takes it. Koash pass down low. Sokolov got a poke on it. Foley comes sliding in to keep it from Smithsall. Conway's feed ends up on the stick of Colton, who's just able to keep it in. Conway, his pass taken by Parsons and dumped out. Wynn, head up, waits for help off the bench. He has Wells coming with him. He tried to dump it in, he hit the linesman. Wynn trying to push his way through, but taken back by the Prowlers. Here's Dalton J. Lost the handle, Merritt follows it up. Now Jay in front looking for Sim. Couldn't get it on the back door. Parsons and Wells are getting after it at center. Wells has his gloves off. Parsons does not. Parsons just turtles. And now Parsons and Wells will have a chat. We'll see who's heading to which penalty boxes. Wells at the very least will head to his. We'll see if Parsons will also go to the box. Right now it doesn't seem like it. And at the moment it is looking like a Prowlers power play. Referees are discussing it right in front of the scorer's table. Prowlers up on shots 4-1 early on in this period. At least officially, Rockers have had a few good opportunities towards the net. Austin Federley and Scott Koash getting the explanation. And it looks like the Prowlers will get the power plays. They're bringing the puck deep into Port Huron territory, and Wells gets 4. So a double minor against Tristan Wells, and a big opportunity for the Prowlers on the quality power play. They're 0 for 2 so far tonight. Send out Merritt, Chartrand, Jay, Johnson, and Young for this power play. And off the faceoff, Young moves away from Giuliano, dumps it deep. Heads after it himself. Young still chasing after that puck. Jay keeps it in at the line, but he gave it right to Wynn. He plays it off the far glass. Comes to Sokolov. He'll stick it to Johnson. Slides over to the far side. Merritt coming back for it. He'll rim it back around. Johnson almost had his pocket picked by Delaney. And Young able to take it back for Port Huron. Now Johnson works in, steps around Fields. Vanderweel there to meet him. And it's banged out by the Rockers. 45 seconds gone in this Prowlers power play. The Wells ended up with 2 for roughing and 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. Young gives it to Graham, but he's stymied at the line, and the Prowlers have to chase once more. Sim drops it for DeCumbis. Now Federley, quick up, back to Vinny DeCumbis. To Sim, knocked down. And the Rockers could have a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Foley getting back. Sneath, that is pass to Fields. It didn't work. Fields steps around Federley. Fields around the net. Now he's just wasting time in the corner. Prowlers have not gotten much going on this power play. It's a minute 35 old. And now they are stopped at the line thanks to an offsides. 2:23 to go in the double minors to Tristan Wells. Rockers 23 seconds from killing off the first minor penalty. Prowlers switch up the unit again. There's Alex Johnson. Off to Merritt. He skates in, makes a move. Merritt still flying around, tried a centering feed, actually hit his own man Chartrand with the pass, and then it was rimmed up, missed everyone, and that's as good as a Rockers clear, as Motor City has killed off the first of the 2 minor penalties. Prowlers with no shots yet on this power play. They've barely even set up. Jay and Delaney tie up, and now Milam pulls it out. Kowash trying to send Milam on his way. Milam taken into the wall by Schumacher. And now Chartrand to Jay. Works through, had it knocked off his stick. Poked back into Motor City ice. TJ Delaney able to work it out. There's Federley in front of his own bench. Gives it up to Sim. Over to Foley from the outside. Shot knocked down by Babin. Rebound was there. Turnaround try by Graham. Just slips wide. 1:10 left on the Prowlers power play. Federley. Graham across towards Sim. Off of his stick. DeCumbis collapsed on. And the Rockers send it all the way down with 53 seconds to go on the penalties to Tristan Wells. Federley dances his way in. He's held up. He and Merritt came together. And now Graham takes the puck. Out high, Federley walks the line over towards Jay. Down to Graham in front looking for Merritt. That was taken away by Gullo, and 23 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. It's cleared down once more. Merritt on to Sim, trying to step around Rotundi from behind the net. Put it towards Babin. Looks like a delayed penalty coming up against the Rockers. The Prowlers will go right back to the power play after Wells steps out of the box in 5 seconds. The puck ends up behind the net. Johnson battling for it. And as the Rockers touch up, we'll get the call. We'll take a timeout. Another Prowlers quality power play when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today. Well, it's time for another Prowlers quality power play with 13:23 left to go in period number 3. Ryan Rotundi is the next man up in the penalty box. Prowlers hoping this power play goes a little bit better than the last one, although not off to a great start as Schumacher has to chase. Prowlers couldn't really get set up at all in that last 4-minute power play. Rockers couldn't get that one out. Schumacher feathers it through for Jay. Winds and fires, and it's patted away by Trevor Babin. Milan behind the net, lofts it out off the glass and all the way down. 35 seconds gone in the Prowlers power play. Schumacher's pass stolen by Kowash, makes a move, and he couldn't find the target. And now Jay the other direction with Chartrand. Chartrand off the boards, back towards Jay. He's able to get it to Sim behind the net, floats it out high to Federley as the Prowlers set back up. Federley to Graham, taps it back across. Federley skates into it, and his shot caught the back glass. And Graham will chase after it. Graham hustling back in. All the way around the net with 45 left on the power play. Graham gets it back from Federley and returns it to him. Sim down deep to Foley. Back out high, Federley winds. Gives it to Cumbus, to Sim, backhander. That was blocked. And now Federley one-timer. And that one couldn't find the cage. 20 seconds to go on this Prowlers power play, much better than the last one. See if they can convert. Federley walks the line. Wrist shot, hit his own man Sim in the helmet. And Sneath will send it all the way down, and that will take care of the rest of the Prowlers power play. Alex Johnson firing back up ice. From the outside, there's another delayed penalty coming up. And as Milam blocks that shot, we'll get that call. And how about another Prowlers power play? This one, not to be debated, it's too many men on the ice. So whether or not you thought any of the previous power plays for the Prowlers were soft calls, that one is a simple numbers game. 6-on-5 was the advantage for Motor City. That's a no-no if your netminder's still in the crease. So, Prowlers to their third power play of the period. You could call it 4 because Tristan Wells had the double minor. And Tim Delaney will go to the box. And if the Prowlers can't convert on this one, this will be a gigantic missed opportunity, as you have 8 minutes of power play time within the first 12 of the period, of a tied third period. And we'll see if they can convert here. They haven't on the first 6 penalty minutes. So we'll continue play. Chartrand getting set for this face-off. He wins it back to Schumacher. Jay. Try to pass down off a stick. Fields gloves it, and he'll start up. Backhanded it deep, and the Prowlers will have to go 200 feet. Merritt gives it over to the near side. Sim. Or that was Johnson, excuse me. Who's it? On it in the corner. Schumacher walks the line, gives to Jay. Wanted to go back to Frank Schumacher, instead he'll go behind the net to Chartrand. Johnson, Schumacher, over to Jay on the far side. Back to Schumacher, he'll kick it to his stick. Johnson couldn't kick it right back to his stick. And Kowash able to loft it out. Halfway through the penalty, being served by Tim Delaney. Prowlers switching up the unit. Here comes Matt Graham. Foley pinned up against the boards. Graham gets it out high to Federley. Now to DeCumbus. Gave it to Foley, who picked it up off the boards behind the net. Foley has it again. Now to Federley. Winds. Foley. Tried to pass across. Conway took it away and sent it all the way down. 20 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play. Sim gives it off to Parsons. And now Federley, quick up to Foley, knocked away by Wynn. Final seconds ticking off this Prowlers power play. And Graham cycles it behind the net. It's sent all the way down to Prowler ice. We're back to 5-on-5. And a big missed opportunity for the Prowlers. 8 minutes of power play time and nothing. Only a few shots, no shots on that last opportunity. Here's Merritt flying back in. The Chartrand had his stick lifted at the last second. Parsons waits for it. He'll play it back to himself. Let's take it into the wall, and now Fields has Giuliano behind everyone. He scores. Home run feed to Jonathan Giuliano. He goes 5-0 on Makar Sokolov to give the Rockers their first lead of the night. Brian Parsons turned that puck over right at the Rocker blue line. Fields gave the long feed up, and for Giuliano, his 14th of the season. That's the most goals he's scored in an FPHL season since 2016-17, when he had 20 for the Danville Dashers and the St. Clair Shores Fighting Saints, who we talked about earlier on in this broadcast. But he has a huge goal for the Rockers as they take their first lead of the game. Graham in front, Federley, and he's stopped by Trevor Babin as the Prowlers were looking for the quick response. 8 minutes of power play time for the Prowlers, and then seconds after it's all killed off, Rockers come down and score. And that's a backbreaker. Young dangling his way in, gets to the outside, has his stick lifted, centering feed. It bounces around the crease, and they'll leave it for Babin to cover up for a whistle and a face-off. We'll take a timeout. Jonathan Giuliano has put the Rockers up by 1 after the Prowlers failed to score on 8 minutes of power play time. We'll be back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network. 7:41 to go, period number 3. The Prowlers have seen a 2-0 lead that they had at the end of the first erased, and now in the third they trail 3-2. They had 8 minutes of power play time, failed to score at all on any of it. They only got 3 shots in those 8 minutes of power play time. Actually, they only got 2 shots in those 8 minutes of power play time, and then the Rockers came down and scored. Parsons with a shot up the knob of the stick of Trevor Babin. It drops to Schumacher back in his own end. Schumacher up towards DeCumbus. Put it in his skates. Schumacher again. Parsons slipped through a couple of Prowlers, and it's dumped back in by Wynn. Now Parsons with 7 to go in regulation. Foley looking towards Chartrand, bounce back to him. Now it's DeCumbus with a shot that was blocked. Giuliano to Vanderweel, and that dump in. Couple of Rockers after it, pops out in front, and Young skates into it. Young slips through a couple of Rockers. Now Johnson with a quick shot, kicked out by Babin. Chartrand able to reach out for the rebound, but couldn't get a shot away. And Graham skates all the way back for it. Young to Johnson. He'll dump it around. It's Rotundi giving it away to Federley. Centering feed, handed right to Nick Gullo. And now Federley with a steal. Turnaround shot off a skate. Fields and Johnson got locked up. They're both slow to get up. Now Heinzel with a drive. Knocked down in front. Graham tried to turn it back on net. And Gullo takes it away. Lofted out, glove down by Heinzel. Heinzel continues to skate by himself. His shot slips wide before he's leveled. The arm is up in the air. It looks like another penalty coming up against Motor City, and Jamison Milam wants to know why another roughing penalty is being signaled by the referee. So the Prowlers catching all kinds of breaks here in the third, but they haven't been able to make them work for them. They're up on shots 10-2 here in the period, but have been outscored 1-0 here in the frame. They'll send out power play unit with Merritt, J, Sim, Johnson, and Schumacher to begin their 5th power play of the period, or 4th, depending on how you look at it, because Wells did have 2 minor penalties, and now a timeout has been called. Boy, this period has been one of missed opportunities for the Prowlers so far. Again, 8 minutes of power play time for the Prowlers in this frame in a 2-2 hockey game, and they were unable to put even more than 2 shots on Trevor Babin. They only got credit for 2 shots, and Motor City is the one, looks like, who called the timeout. But between that Tristan Wells double minor and the Jonathan Giuliano goal right after the final penalty expired, Prowlers had 2 shots on goal in 8 power play minutes. That's not great for 8 even strength minutes, much less power play minutes. But every power play is a new one, and we'll see if the Prowlers can get it done here. Chartrand and Koash on the face-off to start it. And right off the draw, it's sent all the way down. Schumacher has his head up. Now give it over to Johnson, working up the right wing side. Dumps it in, Milam rims it around, hops over Sventsov's stick, and now Schumacher. Johnson, Schumacher, has it. Parsons gives it there, slipped it right through everybody in the slot. Johnson collects again. Schumacher, back to Johnson. Johnson forces it across, gets it to Parsons, wrist shot, waffle boarded by Babin. Now Schumacher drive knocked out in front. That hit his own man Merritt and just slides out of the zone. 55 seconds gone on this Prowlers power play as Graham takes Colton in. Graham in front, pops all the way out. Schumacher drive and a big save by Babin with the blocker. Foley out towards Schumacher. They couldn't connect. Time continues to tick as Schumacher curls away from Vanderweel. He gives it off to Sim and heads off for a change. Kirsten Sim will skate it up the left wing side as Foley with him. He'll bang it off the backboards looking for Evan Foley. Tried to skate into it behind the net. And that puck dumped past Federley at the line and out to center. Final 15 seconds ticking off this Prowlers power play, which again has been largely unsuccessful, although they do have a couple of shots on it. There's Foley to Federley in the final seconds before Field steps out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. Turnaround try, stopped by Babin. Tacoma back towards the net, deflected, knocked down in front, they score! It's Evan Foley batting it in on the backside, and just as the power play expires, the Prowlers finally get one, and they tie this game up at 3. Second of the game for the captain. And out of the 4 to 5 power plays that the Prowlers have had in this third period, that one was probably the best, even if it wasn't great. And right as it ends, Evan Foley takes advantage, and he ties the score once again with 3:22 to go in period number 3. Are we destined for extra hockey? There's Parsons. Gives it up towards Jay. Down to Schumacher. Johnson took a hit, kept in by Conway. Kowash to the net, gloved and held by Makar Sokolov. He will get a whistle and a face-off. Tick under 3 minutes to go in regulation. We'll take a timeout. Evan Foley has the tying goal. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Pepperoni Duo. A delicious combination of classic cut pepperoni, original pepperoni, 100% mozzarella cheese, and our famous flavored crust. 2 kinds of pepperoni, all kinds of delicious.
Hungry?
Howie's! We invite you to tune into our next broadcast on Friday, March 1st, when the Prowlers take on the Danbury Hat Tricks. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. That graphic is wrong. It's 7:30 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 7:15 then. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Off this face off deflected. Kowash back towards the net. It's on the line and it won't go. Oh boy. The shot came in from the point. Sokolov made the save. It came over to the near side where Kowash had a yawning cage. Sokolov dove back. It was bouncing and bouncing. Kowash didn't get all of it. It landed right on the goal line, and Sokolov doing everything he can to keep it out. This game has everything. Off this face-off, it pops to Federley behind his own back. Colton kept it in, though. Now Svintsov below the goal line, hassled by Graham. They battle for it in the corner. Conway around the net, in front, taken by Alex Johnson. He works out. Federley tried to one-hand it along. Comes back out to center, where Schumacher controls. Federley dumps it in, Johnson after it. He'll get there first. He's stapled to the glass. Here's Wells. Makes a move, gets in. Takes a bump from Schumacher. Frank Schumacher takes the puck, gives to Federley. He lofts it out, glove down at center by Fields, but he couldn't skate in with it as the Rockers were still in a delayed offside situation. Fields back at the red line, dumped in by Sneath. There's Parsons backhanding it out. Fields, cross corner dump. Heinzel plays it up the near side. Vanderweel comes down the wall. Prowlers able to pitchfork it out, just barely did not hit the roof here at Big Boy Arena. Here comes Arnott, working in, his shot blocked, has it again, gobbled up by Babin, and he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off with traffic right in front. They'll pick up that loose stick that was over in the corner back in Prowler territory. Critical draw here in the offensive zone. Merritt set to take it against Kowash. Merritt wins it back. Here's Young, wrist shot deflected over top of the cage. Merritt flies in for it, and a centering feed by Jay. Couldn't find a teammate. I don't think Babin was expecting that. Sokolov dumps it out to Sim as we hit the final minute of regulation in a 3-3 game. Milam to Kowash. Now on to Conway. Stood up there by Heinzel. Fields tried to make a move. Young settles things down. He gives it to Dalton Jay. At the red line, at the Rocker blue, he'll backhand it in. Fields chased down by Graham. Now Kowash takes it, turning it back towards Fields. Fields breakout pass behind Svintsov, and now Parsons back up. Here's Dalton Young, makes a move, tried to one-hand it along. Now it's Graham, the Johnson turnaround shot slips wide. 10 seconds left to go in regulation. TJ Delaney able to loft it just out as Parsons tried to glove it down and keep it in. They say he didn't, and with 5.9 up on the clock, we'll have a face-off outside of Rockers territory. And in all likelihood, we will see overtime. As it's won forward by Merritt into the offensive zone, dumped out by Wynn, and we'll get overtime. For the first time this season between the Prowlers and Rockers here at Big Boy Arena, and the third time overall, we get some extra hockey. And for varying reasons, both teams might be happy with a point here. Prowlers came into this game obviously very short-handed as far as personnel. Rockers, on the other hand, fell behind 2-0 in the first period and battled back to eventually take the lead, but then the Prowlers tie it late. We've had a heck of a hockey game here for you. I hope my camera work has been good enough to capture it all, because it's been a rough night up here in the broadcast booth for sure. As we take a look at the record for games that have ended in overtime, Rockers have been to a shootout a few times this season. Those records are not reflected in these ones we have here, but the Prowlers have not faced a shootout yet. Prowlers are 3-4 in overtimes. Liam Freeborn has the most recent OT winner. That was last weekend against Watertown. He's not in the lineup. Vinny DeCumbus also has one. Mitch Jones has the other, and he's on IR. Meanwhile, for the Rockers, they're 3-2 in overtimes this season. And I believe Nick Gullo had one against the Rockers when he was a member of the Elmira River Sharks, if I'm remembering that correctly. The Prowlers send out Graham, Federley, and Johnson to begin overtime against Vanderweel, TJ Delaney, and Josh Colton, and we're underway in overtime. Federley will hold back in his own end. Quickly over to Johnson now. Now to Graham, and this overtime has already lasted longer than the Prowlers' last one. Federley to Graham, all the way around the net. Had it taken by Delaney. And now Delaney has Colton with him. Delaney to Colton. That one went go, and then they score on the rebound. It's TJ Delaney following it up. And the Prowlers earn a point, but they fall here tonight. 4-3 your final. As TJ Delaney crashed the net and found the rebound after the turnover all the way back in Rocker territory. Motor City sweeps the weekend. And the Prowlers go home with a point and head into the bye week with just 1 point out of this weekend. An emotional game here tonight after an emotional one last night. Prowlers will rest up, they'll heal up, and they will get set for the Danbury Hat-Tricks coming up on March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We'll have all 3 of those games here for you on the PHP Network. Now, I don't want to skip out too quickly here on the post-game show, but I do need to clean things up here and quickly get going, as of course we have a long drive back to Port Huron. TJ Delaney with the game-winning goal here tonight for the Motor City Rockers. Prowlers took a 2-0 lead in the first, getting goals from Dan Chartrand and Evan Foley. But then the Rockers scored twice in the second to tie things up. Rockers killed off 8 minutes of power play time for the Prowlers. And then Jonathan Giuliano was able to give Motor City the lead just seconds after that. And then that score held until there were under 4 minutes to play. But Evan Foley got the tying goal. That set the game to overtime, but TJ Delaney knocked in the rebound. And the Motor City Rockers come away with a 4-3 OT win here tonight at Big Boy Arena. That's going to do it here for me. TJ Sneath is your 3rd star with 2 assists. Evan Foley, the 2nd star with 2 goals. And TJ Delaney, the 1st star tonight with the game-winning goal. But that's going to do it for me. For Will Wiggleman running the camera, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the PHP Network. Bye.